Welcome to Sun City News. I'm your host, Norma Taylor, and we're starting our news show with these stories. Our SCTV crew interviewed the founders of OPFOB. Georgia Lash attended the recent Sun City Veterans Association meeting, and later in the program, our news crew reports on the Buckeye Group's live auction. Sun City News starts now.
This is Sun City News, with our news team bringing you stories from Sun City and the Low Country, taking the lead with entertainment news. And on deck is our sports report. Sun City News, from people you know, about people you know. This week's SCTV News starts now.
SCTV visited the Operation Patriot Forward Operating Base, known as OPFOB, to discuss its origin with its founders.
We finally pulled the trigger and moved back down here in 2018. 2019, we lost 5 guys within a 13-month span. And that's when I broke down to Stephanie and I said, there's got to be more that we can do. What can we do? Well, she'd picked up on something. She picked up on every time I was going back and forth to Salt Lake City, Utah, where Labs for Liberty was, I'd always come back refreshed, rejuvenated. And why is that? Well, so out there they had some rifle and pistol ranges, some ATV trails that we'd go ride around. We'd do some fly fishing, some hunting. But most importantly, at the end of the day, I'd sit around a bonfire with other combat veterans, and I got more therapy out of that than I ever did the medication or sitting in front of the doctors. So when she picked up on that, and I was like, you're right, let's move to Utah. And we had just moved back down here. But she's like, maybe you're onto something. Maybe we should try to recreate something like that down here.
Stephanie, I asked JR what toll it took on him, but you've mentioned in an article I read that the family are affected just as much. And you brought it so succinctly when you said, for you, while they're gone, your life is a normal pace. But when he returns, that changes for him, and you try to still maintain normalcy. When JR came up with the concept, it sounds like you were quite the spark plug. So what were the joys and challenges of putting this together?
Well, I think it's really hard when you're watching somebody that you care about struggle and continue to struggle and not really know what it is that you can do to help. So when you, as your spouse or any caregiver, you're going to be the first one that's going to really notice when there's that shift, when something changes, whether it's positive or negative, and being able to pick up on those things, what is actually helping and what's not helping. When we acknowledged how the experiences, what he was experiencing out in Utah was affecting him when he would come back home, he was a better version of himself. He was more motivated. He had just more energy. He was more excited about everything. And then seeing when he would get one of those phone calls, how all that motivation would come crashing right back down because it would put him back in that place that he knew that those guys were in at the time. So just being able to notice those changes and implement the things that are actually helping. So when we kind of got to talking about, well, what is it that you're doing? Why is this different than everything else that you've done? It kind of laid out a pretty obvious roadmap of what are the things that are going to be able to help somebody who's struggling in this situation.
There is so much more for us to learn about OPFOB. Please tune into our May episode of Extra. In a show of patriotism for these troubling times, attendees at the recent Veterans Association meeting donned their red, white, and blue. The topic of the meeting was recruit training, past and present, by keynote speaker Colonel Baraletti. SCTV had an opportunity to meet with him.
Colonel Baraletti, congratulations. You have just assumed command of the Parris Island Recruit Training Regiment. Now, Parris Island, such a rich history since 1915. Why would you say that Parris Island has such a special place in the Marine Corps identity and mission?
Absolutely. Parris Island is, we call it an iconic and a historic location. It's historic because, as you stated, we've been training recruits there for 110 years. But it's iconic because of what we do there. Our mission is a sacred one, and it's twofold. It's safeguarding the legacy of our Corps while at the same time preparing the next generation of Marines who will fight and win irrespective of the obstacle, irrespective of the adversary. It's the grit, the determination, the will to succeed. And we are changing the trajectory of lives.
Definitely. We so respect that. Now, this evening, you're talking to our Sun City veterans about the differences in training from the past and today's training. Can you give us an example of one of those notable distinctions?
Absolutely. There's a core tenets of what it means to be a Marine, the intangible elements, that warfighting spirit, the lethality, the physical toughness, that'll remain the same forever. But there are definitely evolving characteristics of how we fight and win in the future that require us to take an evolutionary approach to how we are training recruits. So one of the things that we develop now is the ability to critically think through problems and lead their peers in a manner in which they will continue to be able to make decisions and win faster than the adversary can make their own decisions. So we've changed a little bit on the how, but the core tenets of recruit training will always be the same.
Now, with that same notion, when you look at your recruits, when you think about a skill set or maybe a mindset, is there something that almost always will predict the success of a recruit?
100%. I could name it in one word: grit. It's resiliency, that determination to win, regardless of whatever gets thrown in their way. That is usually the biggest predictor of success. And you could see it early on. At first, the external stressor that creates those obstacles in the recruit's path is the drill instructor team, where the demands that they place on that individual recruit is oftentimes seemingly more difficult than they believe that they can actually accomplish. And what they learn is they're not in it alone. And as a team, they're able to continue to raise the bar. And then at a certain point in their training, it usually comes around 8 weeks in, they realize that it doesn't matter what we put in their path. If they get anchored into their why, the why that they wanted to join the Marine Corps, the why they had that call to serve, and the why that they want to become a Marine, if they anchor on that, they will be successful. And at that point, you're winning. So that's the number one thing.
Still more to come. Georgia Lash attended the recent Meet the Author event. Our SCTV crew was at the WTO's 20th anniversary event, and Chris Chase fills us in on the Eat Smart luncheon. We'll return after a brief break. At the recent Meet the Author event, novelist Patricia Brandon took the audience back to South Carolina in the Revolutionary War era with her historical novel, Rise of the Pale Moon.
Patricia, the genre for Rise of the Pale Moon is historical fiction.
It is.
I've read the book, and I think if all your readers were sitting here with me, it is so much more. So I'm going to ask you, how do you like to introduce your novel to future readers?
Oh my gosh. Well, you're right. I mean, I do think it's definitely historical fiction, but I read voraciously as a child. Historical fiction, biographies, God knows what, National Geographic, anything. And I have always gravitated to historical fiction. I think primarily because good historical fiction, to my mind, should not only educate but entertain. And so it's really important to me, while I'm not a historian and I lean on the fiction part, it's important to me to get as much of the history right as I can. But I also feel like when I introduce my books, I say they usually all incorporate a little bit of little-known history. There's a touch of romance. There is always the theme of, no matter how desperate the conflict, good over evil. And I feel like that all of my books help people to connect emotionally with issues from the past. and lessons from the past. And for this book in particular, there's of course a lot in there about slavery because it involves an indentured servant, the three female protagonists, an indentured servant from London, a chattel slave who was raised on the fictional Montague Hall plantation, and also Ashwea, the Catawba Indian girl who is captured by the Cherokee and traded into slavery. So in this novel, you get a picture of what each of those pieces of servitude looked like. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does.
How they felt and all that.
Right. We're going to talk about those themes and lessons a little bit later in the
Okay.
interview, I hope. But let's learn a little bit more about you. I read that you've described yourself as homegrown.
Yeah.
You are, if I remember correctly, you are raised, braised, and cured in the deep South, in the charcuterie of the deep South. And I love charcuterie. Okay.
I'm a Southern girl. I'm from South Carolina and very proud to be so.
So this might be a silly question. Was that the influence for the setting of Rise of the Pale Moon?
Probably partially. I have always loved everything South Carolina, and it wasn't until I started, but each of my three novels take place during different time periods. So this is the one that goes furthest back, that starts just before the American Revolution in South Carolina. But as I began to read up on the time period, I realized that the South Carolina played a huge part in the Revolution. We had some of the biggest and bloodiest battles and that kind of thing. And of course, we were, of course, secession came much later after the Revolution, but South Carolina just is an integral part of the United States history. And so I wanted to delve into more of that history in our state. So yeah, that probably did play a part.
To hear more from Patricia Brandon, please tune into our April episode of Meet the Author. Our SCTV crew attended the recent Women's Tennis Organization's celebration on their 20th anniversary and captured some of the festivities.
Well, I'm here with Angela Basu-Wolf, who's the chair of the WTO, and there is a big event going on. 20 years, I can't believe it. What's going on here?
So this is our 20th anniversary celebration. We've been working over a year for this, so we're very excited. We have premier sponsors that have been able to attend. We have a lovely luncheon after tennis activity. The tennis activity will be in the morning, and obviously we're at the courts. People are coming. We have a beautiful day, so we are just thrilled to be here.
I know the temperature's going to go up to the 80s right now. It's just a little jacket weather, but you're also going to have a radar gun contest that people are participating in. And then tell us about the lunch, and the pavilion looks fantastic.
Yes, we have it all decorated, so the people are coming, hopefully be nice and surprised. We have balloons. We have a lot of different tables that try to show our history of WTO. We're going to honor four wonderful people who are still living here that are part of the first steering committee. This is Ann Clements, Becky Netsty, Cindy Vanderberg, and Judy Trapp.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to seeing some fun tennis and then a great lunch.
Yes, very good. I should mention Gavin Cox and his crew has come over to help us with the tennis activities like that, and they'll run the radar gun contest, and we have a great prize for that. Chris Scott from the Scott Foundation has agreed to donate a prize of tennis balls, so we're really kind of excited. So we're going to have fun.
Well, we're excited too. Okay, let the games begin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm here with Barbara Fluharty, and Barbara's been with the WTO for over 18 years. Yep. That is amazing. So you've seen a lot of changes here, right, Barb?
Definitely. It's grown larger and larger every year.
Okay. So after now we watch some absolutely fantastic drills given by Gavin's team. So now we're going to be pretty soon coming in here to the pavilion, which is really decorated beautifully. And what are we going to see?
Well, we're going to see lots of flowers and things on the table. We're going to have lunch. The lunch is being mostly provided by all of our famous tennis players. They are providing the salads, and we have bakers that are doing all the desserts. So it's going to be exciting and fun, new way of doing our luncheons.
Okay. It sounds like it's going to be a fantastic afternoon, and we are looking forward to it.
Well, thank you. We're glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Healthy Eating Club is traveling to different locations throughout the Lowcountry. Chris Shays spoke with Larry Lyon, president of the club, Phil Crummer, restaurant locator.
I am co-chair of what's called the restaurant committee of the Healthy Living Club.
Oh, now what exactly is that? What do you do?
Well, the Healthy Living Club is a group of folks that basically work with each other to support nutrition and better sleep and exercise and community connections. We all try to help each other. We do events, and today's event is at this beautiful restaurant, Okan Restaurant, and it's around the community connections pillar and also the nutrition course. And we are primarily a plant-based diet group, and then today's luncheon is around that.
That's excellent. Now, how many members do you have?
There are about 200 members of this Healthy Living Club, and basically we just come together to support each other.
That's excellent. Now, today it looks like it's a full house.
Right. It's a wonderful event where our chef here is going to be making a special lunch just for us. Dishes that he has come up on his own to support our interest.
Is there anything you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, we would love to have you come and try us out. Healthy living is pretty important for all of us.
Now, there's a lot of things that you've planned, and what's your main goal for this club?
Well, I think this year is a little special. We're moving forward a little bit from an Eat Smart club to a Healthy Living Club. In so many words, we're encompassing the 5 pillars of health. Not just diet, but we're encompassing exercise, we're encompassing stress reduction, we're encompassing socialization, which I'd reach out and give you a hug, but you're too far away with that camera. And the last pillar, sleep, which I got plenty of last night. So that's what we're kind of doing with the Healthy Living Club this year.
Yes, excellent. And today, what's going on today?
So today, Phil and his wife, they started up a come have lunch with us. And we're meeting at Oakham, a lovely restaurant here in Bluffton. And the cook is going to cook us a lunch using no oil and eating a very plant-based, healthy diet.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Still much more ahead on Sun City News. Randy Selman's here with entertainment news. Georgia Lash reports on the Buckeye Group's live auction. And sitting in for Mike today is Georgia Lash with the sports report. So make sure you come on back.
We're not April fooling. Our entire April Extra episode is extra special.
As fresh as the spring flowers, we're bringing you all the SCTV coverage of our fresh and new Sun City West Amenity Center.
You'll catch a sample of the SCTV tour show, and you'll check in on the VIP day and ribbon cutting.
Tune in to see if we caught you on camera giving us your thoughts about our newest edition.
Cable viewers, please check our program listings on the Sun City website, and you can always catch us on our YouTube station for convenient viewing.
Randy Selman's back with some entertainment news.
In April, Lifestyle Services is presenting 2 comedians for your pleasure. On Wednesday, April 18th, the show will feature Cyrus Steele. If you enjoy pure, wholesome comedy, this is a show for you. But hurry, because tickets are going fast. Doors and Cash Bar open an hour before each show. The show begins at 5:30 or 8 p.m. in Pinckney Hall. Tickets are $15 and are available at Lifestyle Services or online. If you're looking for a show with raw stand-up comedy, there are still tickets available, but grab them quickly for this special uncensored night when Funny Business presents Jill Kimmel, sister of comedian and late-night host Jimmy Kimmel. For full disclaimer, she does not shy away from uncomfortable material, so leave the kids at home. The only thing she will shy away from at this show is profanity. The show is being presented on Monday, April 27th at 5:30 and 8 p.m. Tickets are $15 and they're available online or at Lifestyle Services. Doors and Cash Bar services at Pinckney Hall open an hour before each show. Heather Rice shares her talent during an evening of jazz and wine on Wednesday, April 29th. Tickets are $18 and they're available online and at Lifestyle Services. Doors and Cash Bar services open at 6 p.m. in Pinckney Hall and the music begins at 7. Hurry, there are just a few seats available. On April 30th, Make It and Take It will guide you while you create beautiful plank signs at their art workshop. Join them as you design the perfect 12 by 16-inch plank sign. Select one of 3 designs created especially for Sun City: anchor and oars, starfish, or better at the beach. You can also personalize your sign with a name. Then choose a stain or paint color. All supplies are included in the ticket price of $53. Tickets are available online or at Lifestyle Services. I'm Randy Selman, and that's your entertainment report. Remember, life is entertaining, so don't miss the show.
The Buckeye Group held its annual meeting and topped off the event with a live auction. SCTV checked in on what they've planned.
It is such a fun evening. It's a beautiful night, and we have one of our fun clubs that always comes out to help everyone. And if you don't know who they are, find out. It's the Buckeye Group. They are doing an auction this evening which helps support all of their charitable efforts. These people have so many activities, so many charities that they support, and we are so proud to be spending some time with them this evening. Rhonda, every time I hear about the Buckeye Club or the Buckeye Group, when people talk about it, it's always, oh, they're so fun and they do so much. So here we are. It's not Pancake Breakfast Day. What's going on tonight?
We're going to go ahead and have a live auction, and we've asked everybody to bring something from home. It has to be in working condition, and so that we can auction it off and make a little bit of money on that.
That sounds like fun. And the table is filled. I'm not going to, be able to stay for the bidding, but I think I really want to put in like a silent auction bid on some of those things. They're beautiful. Okay, so how's the membership going with your son's, Buckeye Group?
Membership has always been spectacular. The Buckeye Group's one of the largest groups here in Sun City, and right now I think our membership's just a little over 430, and continues to grow. And so we've had a lot of new members coming in, and so yeah, it's all about having fun, and people want to be a part of the Buckeye Group.
I always love to hear the Buckeye Club group requirement for membership.
Well, the membership's pretty simple. You either have lived in Ohio, you've driven through Ohio, you know someone from Ohio, or the hardest is if you can spell Ohio, which is why you see Buckeyes doing that silly thing, OHIO. So that's the requirements for joining the Buckeye Group.
And I think if that doesn't show you how much fun this group is, that said it all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Scott, you have a very important job today, and that is you're one of our auctioneers. So what's your experience? Have you been an auctioneer very long?
Never done it before in my life, but I think I could get the prices up just because it's a good cause. We need money to fill the coffers here for all the events that we have.
So are you going to play on their sympathy? Are you going to be a hard-nosed auctioneer? What's going to be your vibe?
Their wallets.
Now let's head over to Georgia Lash, sitting in for Mike Romano with some sports news.
Hello, sports fans. We had the pleasure of attending the Sun City Swim Club's intra-club social swim meet. Here we see some of the swimmers competing in the backstroke race. We also caught up with Steve Oliver, coordinator of the event.
Okay, we're at the Lake House Swim indoor swim pool, and the swim club is having a intra league meet today, and Steve Oliver is the coordinator of it. Steve, tell us a little bit about the meet.
So today is a grouping of within the swim club. We swim at 3 different times: 12:30, 2 o'clock, and 2:30. So the idea of the meet was to get people together so they could meet people in different groups. And when you swim, most times you just swim in an individual lane, so you don't get to know people in those other than in people in your lane. So the idea behind this was to have some fun, and then also get some people who are interested in competition to get experience in racing, how to start, how to warm up, etc., things like that.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sure our listeners are going to be really interested in this.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
The meet was followed by a social hour. The Adaptive Golf Experience Clinic, recently held at the Hidden Cypress Golf Course, was a huge success. The clinic focused on helping individuals with balance or physical limitations to enjoy golf. Included in the day's events were putting, chipping, and ball striking. And at the end of the clinic, the participants played a round of golf. Check out our April Spotlight on Sports to hear from some of those attending the clinic. The Tennis Club will be conducting a 6-week Learn to Play tennis program beginning in early April. Cost of the program is $115 and will be held on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. If you're interested, call the Logo Building at 843-705-4034. That's it for sports. It's now time to get outside and have some fun. For Sun City Sports, I'm Georgia Lash.
Well, before we sign off for this week, we want to extend our congratulations to Tanya Flanagan on her appointment from the Sun City Hilton Head Board of Directors to be our new General Manager. Tanya will begin her new position on Thursday, April 2nd. Now, Tanya is very familiar with the Sun City Hilton Head community. Since 1999, she has served the community in several roles, including the Property and Grounds Committee, Modifications Committee, Riverbend Architectural Review Board, and Safety and Security. She has worked for Pulte for over 10 years, serving approximately 50 communities. She brings extensive experience managing homeowners associations in the Carolinas and Georgia, and her knowledge of Del Webb communities will be a plus for Sun City Hilton Head. Congratulations, Tanya. Well, that's the end of our news show this week. Thank you for watching. Catch us on cable and on our YouTube station, where we invite you to click like and subscribe. To see expanded coverage of some of our SCTV stories, tune into our monthly show Extra. And if you have questions and comments, email us at suncitytvhh@gmail.com. But make sure you check us out every week for all the news that's happening in your community. For Sun City News, I'm Norma Taylor.